Friday, and there was some things I wanted to buy, and I was waiting for like any special Black Friday deals that were gonna come up, because before I make any large purchases, I like to shop around for the best price. And so one of the things I purchased was a camera. That's the camera I'm filming on right now. And today I just wanted to drive around in my car, test out the camera, see how it works. The camera I'm using, I had seen advertised online, and it's called the Insta360. And the reason I liked the camera is because it looked like it was something that you could like clip onto your clothes and film when you're out and about. And so I wanted to get that camera because one thing I really can't stand is having to, when you're doing a YouTube video, take out your phone, have a selfie stick, and make a whole big production of it where you're out in public, which I always feel like you're making a total fool of yourself. You know, you got the selfie stick and you're waving it around, you're filming yourself, you're talking to your camera, and people are looking at you like you're some sort of weirdo. And, you know, I really don't want to come off as like, look at me, everybody, I'm the star of my own show. But that's how it feels when you're trying to film a video out in public. And I've always felt like people who use their phone out in public are, you know, it just seems rude and disrespectful. So I thought if I had something that was more like a discreet body cam type camera that I could wear, so when I'm going out, maybe going for a walk, filming nature, you know, that way I'm not like having to carry and wave it around this phone everywhere. But I do want to tell you that when I bought the camera, I went online and I made the purchase, but I had seen, you know, a lot of promos and that sort of thing, coupons, and how they were running a special for Black Friday, and there was even like an additional special where you get a free selfie stick. So that sounded great. So basically I waited until the sale was on. I went online to make the purchase. And this is some of what frustrates me, that, you know, I feel like maybe it's like misleading or false advertising, but I felt like, you know, I purchased the camera that was advertised online, and, you know, I entered in the promo code, and the promo code didn't work. And the so-called free selfie stick they were advertising, I guess the promo code just no longer worked. So that was kind of annoying, you know, kind of makes you think like, well, you know, if they can't even get that right, then do I even want to be purchasing from this company? And so I made the purchase, and I really felt like the camera was advertised as like this mini camera, films in 4K, and I got the camera and it doesn't even film in 4K. So, you know, I could easily blame myself and say, well, maybe I purchased the wrong camera, but I purchased the camera that was advertised on the website. If you go on their website, you can see there's all sorts of different things you can purchase, and sometimes it can be overwhelming to decide, well, what package or which one should I purchase, when they're saying like, well, do you need the camera for sports? You can buy our sports camera, or do you need the camera for, you know, are you a YouTube creator, or is this going to be for personal use? It's kind of like, well, why do you need to know what I'm going to use the camera for? But they want to sell you certain accessories based on what you're going to use the camera for. And that's where it can just seem all overwhelming, because it's like, I don't know what accessories I'm going to want or need. You know, just give me the basic package. But I just thought that sometimes when you're buying something online, you know, unless you can really have it in your hand and like read all the fine print material, you never really know what you're getting until you get it. And I will tell you, once I got this camera, there seemed to be quite a learning curve. It comes with no instructions whatsoever. So if you want to learn how to use the camera, I mean, I just basically went on YouTube and watched other YouTube videos of people that already had the camera that explained how to use it, because the camera itself, it comes with no instructions, and there's really no help on their website. Like, for instance, you can't live stream with this camera, and even though right now I don't do live streams, I think that's something important to know, that if you're planning to live stream, you really can't do that on this camera. There's a couple other issues that I thought I'd talk about. I will say that it was shipped to me fairly fast, so that wasn't an issue. When you get the camera, another reason why I wanted to get the camera is it's its own individual unit, but I wanted it because you can connect remotely to your phone, so that basically what you film on the camera, you can edit on your phone, and that was something that I was looking forward to doing. But I felt like when I got the camera, trying to get it to like connect to my phone, it kept saying it couldn't connect. So I got very frustrated with that, because I thought, well, if it isn't going to work for what I want it to work for, then I'd rather just send the camera back. So, you know, it took a lot of trial and error trying to get the camera to connect to the phone so I could at least edit videos on the phone. that was frustrating. And like I said, without it having any sort of instructions, trying to figure out exactly how to connect the camera to the phone, and trying to figure out, well, how do I download the video once it's on my phone? How do I download it so that I can now upload it to YouTube? There's just like a lot of things where it's not so easy. It's not like you just press a button and it works. There's like a lot of steps you have to do, and that's kind of frustrating. Also, the camera actually comes with a lot of settings, and I'm sure is great if you know what the settings do. And since it's kind of all over my head, I'm not going to say I'm some tech expert, but because there's no one to really explain to you the settings unless you go on YouTube and watch other people explain it, I was having some issues where when I did some filming just to try this out before, I was having like this flickering. So it was like a strobe light effect. And so when I watched it, I mean, it would basically give anyone a headache if they were to watch it, and that flickering was constantly going off. And it's because I didn't have my settings correct. And I didn't even know how to change the settings because it's just not crystal clear on how to use it. So a couple other issues is it comes with accessories where you could clip the camera onto your hat. I don't normally wear hats, so I guess I would kind of feel silly where it looks like, I'm walking around in public with this miner's lamp on my forehead. That's kind of how it feels. But I do think the hat clip is probably the best way to film with the camera if you're trying to do like a point of view shot. The other thing is the camera seemed like a little bit delicate, so you might want to purchase a carrying case or something to keep the camera protected so that when you're not using it, I mean, it's just gonna like bang around in your backpack or your purse or whatever. So you might want to put it in some sort of safety case. I was a little surprised that I already owned a tripod, and the camera does connect to the tripod I already owned. It's not even like the same brand or anything, but maybe all tripods are standard in a sense because it fit perfectly on my tripod. The one thing I didn't like is I thought it would be great to, like I said, just like pin it on your shirt. It actually goes on your clothes with a magnet. So I thought like that'd be great to just have it on your shirt. Then you can go out in public and do some in public filming without disrupting anyone. And this is the thing that I realized, that unless you have a perfectly flat chest, the camera like is always going to be like pointed at an angle. I do not have a perfectly flat chest. I have some curves, and so that meant that when I go to put it on my shirt, it basically like points up, and so I'm only filming the ceiling at that point, and that's not going to work for me for what it is that I want to do. And so, like I said, if you happen to have a perfectly flat chest, maybe it'll work for you. Okay, so one last thing to point out is this unit, you plug the camera into here, and there's supposed to be a button on the side that pops the camera out. And I found it interesting that basically you press the button, at least on my camera, you press the button and it doesn't pop out. You have to actually like really yank it out of the unit. And it almost feels like you're gonna break the camera every time you yank it out. It doesn't come out easily. You have to like really struggle to get it out. So I don't think that's normal or a really bad design flaw. So that's just kind of one last comment I'll make about this camera.